Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dad Games Mad League. We are back here today with more NHL 23 and our Portland Wolves 2 Ways to Win Draft to Glory series. We are finally in the 2040-2041 season. We are moving quite along, and there are some pretty big changes to this team, I'd say. Well, I guess I wouldn't say pretty big. Let's just go take a look. I mean, Chung, Appel, Severson, all doing great at basically 90 overall. Nestorov, Jennings, and Bradley, who is now an 87. McGinn is here. Cook is here. Hope, Vigier, Snyder, and Yarvanen are rounding out our... Jesus. Our bottom six. On defense... Harding, Esch, Ferguson, Stanton, Huselius, and Bykov is here with a -2 because we got two lefties. And in net, Clappy and Dag, Yekimovs and Lindbergh down there. Burrows, Flynn, Koistitsin, Paddock, Smoskowitz, Ladd, Sillinger, Gogol, Mason, and Finley are ours. Perzogin and Zadorov are not. Defensively, McCann, Rakos, Joseph, Jacobs, Little, and MacArthur. The Italian and Chucko are both gone. Needed to get rid... Like, Chucko, as good as he was, I wasn't going to pay the money for him. And... You know, when we've got a guy who's younger and is fitting in and basically what Chucko is. Was it Chuko? No, there was a C there. So he ended up going to Seattle on a 4-year, almost $9 million. Jaden, congratulations for getting that, sir. You definitely weren't going to get that with us for the 84 overall. And Elliott. That should work. No, apparently not. Wants me to actually spell his name. Cannot find him, apparently. He definitely did not retire, though, because he was on the team. So, but it doesn't matter. He's probably a free agent or signed to a league min deal. I would have kept him, but he had just a shit season with us last year. So I think he was quite old, too, right? He's in his 30s. And he's not going to be around much longer. So we are just going to let him go. And we're going to take a look at this team. Honestly, it's not as bad as it could be. It could be a lot worse, this team. You know, still 390 overalls, 86, 87, 85. It's the worst we've been in a while for both offense and defense. Goaltending, pretty much the same that it's been for a while. We've kind of always had a goaltender that we could put into the spot there. So let's go ahead and get into this season and see what happens. I'm really curious. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs this year, folks. You know, 2 wins to start the season off, then lose, then win, then lose. Ottawa's up next. We beat them 6-1, beat Vegas as well, beat Toronto, lose to Anaheim and New Jersey, and then beat Pittsburgh, lose to Vancouver by a goal. Beat Philly and Dallas for a 9-4-1. Then we beat Pittsburgh again, lose to Chicago, beat Winnipeg, beat Seattle, beat Boston, beat Tampa. So we had a 4-game win streak there before we lose one, win one, lose one, win one. 8-0 win over the Devils. 34 points, though. A beautiful 17-6-3 record. I can't get through it fast enough when I'm going over it because it loads so much faster now. And, you know, it's the first world problem. Like, I'm glad it's loading faster, but it's also like I can't keep up with what's going on. So San Jose and Seattle lose one, win one. Couple days off before facing Carolina and winning. Lose to Vancouver again. Beat Columbus. lose to New York and Calgary, beat Seattle, that's for the third time this season, lose to Dallas, lose to Washington. San Jose is up next to end the year, and we win that one 22-11-4. Good for 48 points. You know, we're not secure in a spot there. You know, the Knights could even overtake us eventually. And there's 3 teams there vying for a wild card spot or 2. So definitely going to need to do some work. Ernesto Chung with 38 points. You'll love to see somebody at least a point per game. Ernesto, also 38 from Appel, 34 from Severson, 33 from Nestorov, 38 from Jennings. I mean, 32 from Bradley is not too bad, actually. I don't hate on that. He is now an exact 6, though, at 35. So definitely by the end of these 4 years, I believe Danny Bradley will be retiring as a Portland Wolf. And he's not going anywhere. Like, I don't care if I have to sign him for another season at, like, $6 million when he's, 40, I will. But I definitely don't think he goes out past his contract, in all honesty. 12 points for Marty Hope. 7 from... Yikes. I think Junior Snyder gets a shot, as does Järvinen on the come-up there. I mean, Järvinen with 12 points compared to the 7 from McGinn. Snyder with 13 compared to the 7 from Cook. Vigier has 9, which has actually been pretty dang good. Marty Hope has 12, though, so... So that fourth line is kind of doing it. I'm going to give him a chance here, but I might move him back because they've been quite good defensively, that fourth line, so I can't really hate. Harding and Esch have been fantastic. I mean, Esch is 33, and he's still an exact elite, and he hasn't started going down yet, where Danny Bradley started going down at 30. So Stanton is not too bad. Ferguson, honestly, Bykov with 7 points and a -3 in, 15 minutes of ice time, 15 and a half for Husielus with 8 points. He's now considered a low 7th. Whatever. Medium elite, though, in Stanley Ferguson is the replacement to Jaden Esch in the future and in goal. Honestly, we're doing a lot better than I thought we would this season. Clappy's all right. Dag's pretty much the same guy. Can't hate down here. How are we doing? Yekamoms and Lindbergh is having a good season. What's Marcel 20? It's just so ridiculous. We just have never had somebody we could just bring up mid-season. I mean, Abel McCann would be the one guy. But at 31, he is what he is. Rakos is 23. Jose Jacobs. Brandon Joseph is 24. Like Ross Little and Damian MacArthur, he's really the only one who should probably be a little bit higher. Yeah, we're just going to leave it like that. And give MacArthur a shot. Give him a little bit more time. Former third-round pick. He's got some skills. Like, if he can get his offensive awareness up in the next couple of years, he'd definitely make a nice bottom-pairing guy for us. They have 54 points and are doing quite well, so we will continue on. A couple players, like 3 players at a point per game, which is nice. Let's go ahead and go to the second there, game against Colorado. Beat Nashville, lose to Detroit, lose to the Islanders, beat St. Louis, beat Detroit, lost to Anaheim, lose to Buffalo, beat Chicago, though. Montreal's up next. Can we beat the toilet seats? We cannot. We beat Philly, but not Minnesota, Arizona, Columbus, and St. Louis, as well as Toronto. Winnipeg, we lose. Islanders, we beat them this time. Vegas, we lose. Win one, lose one. Win one against Philly. Edmonton's up next. before the bye week or All-Star break. Beautiful. Vegas, we beat that. 3 wins in a row. Lose to Colorado. Beat Carolina. Or lose to Carolina in the shootout. That's good for 79 points. We are still on the cusp. Does look like we will be... I mean, the Oilers and the Jets, honestly, we're pretty solid for that spot. Might be wild card spot, first wild card spot, or third in our division. Did we beat the Ducks the other day? I remember seeing a game against the Duckers. Ducks. We did not. Haven't seen a game against LA in a while, or at all, if anything. So maybe we'll play them here to the end of the season. Chung Dao at 60 points in 62 games. Not too bad. Apple with 58. 53 for Manny. 53 for Ivan. 55 for Jennings. 55 for Bradley. So the second line is exactly where I'd want them to be. Exactly where I want them to be. This second line is working probably one of the best second lines we've ever had. Marty Hope with 18, Junior with 18, Yarvinen with 18, Vigier with 15, Cook with 10, and McGinn with 15. So in all honesty, it didn't hurt things to move that around. Gave everybody else a little boost. Down here, we're looking at Harding doing great, Esch doing great, Stanton, Ferguson. Even Huselius and Bykov are doing quite well right now. I'm not too upset with what's going on here. And in net, have they picked it up? Clappy's gotten a bit better, Dag a bit worse. I can't make any changes really to goaltending. I have a Robichaux or somebody sitting in the wings, but it's not really going to help us simulate to this game. Beat Colorado, beat Ottawa, beat Minnesota, please. We do not. Beat Buffalo. Lose to the Rangers 9-7. Lose to Edmonton. Lose to Nashville. Lose to LA. That's 4 in a row right now that we're lost. Florida we lose. Islanders we win. Tampa we win. Detroit we lose. Montreal we win. Colorado we lose. Washington, Calgary, and New York. Carolina, 3 games in a row to end the season, and we win 2 but get 5 out of 6 points, which isn't too bad. Looks like we got the final wild card, or the first wild card spot, 100 points. Would definitely be taking on the Preds, I think, in our first round. It looks like, because the Kings will get the Wild. Interesting. Or maybe I'll get the Kings. Well, you never know, because we're all in each division. Who knows? We'll see. It'll be the Kings or Nashville, either or. The team, how'd they do? 81 points for Chunger isn't bad. 78, 78, 76, 74, 69. So if you're looking at our first line of Chung with 81, Apple with 74, and Severson with 69, I would expect a little bit more out of Severson. Even 2 more points would have been fine. But not terrible. The second line of Danley Bradley, Jennings, and Nesterov basically were better than our first line. Everybody but Chung. Appel, Marty Hope only had 28 points. He had a much better season last year, didn't he? Yeah. We did split up. That third line that we had that was really good for us. They just weren't good in the playoffs. Snyder with 23, Yarvinen with 21, McGinn with 19, Vigier with 15, and Cook with 12. So, a little disappointed in the bottom 6. Marty Hope was the best one, but it is what it is. Harding with 64, Esch with 50, Ferguson, Stanton, Huselius, and Bykov with 14. Honestly, that fourth line didn't work because we don't have that right defender. But I can't be too upset. Goalie-wise, Clappy, I mean, we're in the playoffs, and I don't know how that's going to go, so. Regular season is ended. Beauty. And we will be facing Nashville. The Huskies will be facing Laval in the next round. Let's go ahead and take a look at those Predator lines. Nashville. Halutinen, Scarlett, Jermaine Regier, high franchise, 23. Jesus. How was this season, though? 102 points, 101. Yeah. Dang, Jermaine. Kulikov, Labrie, Menard, Haynes, Ritchie, Calvert, Tanabe, Nash, Esch. This forward core, I mean, outside of Regier and Scarlett, like, what do you have? You've got a third line in Halton and Haynes and Kulikov, and you've got 2 fourth lines. Plus a couple players. Okay, how are you looking on defense? Vasyunov, Matanin, Frigon, DeRosier, Columb, and Franco. 90 overall, Dakota Burke. 90 overall, Dakota Burke, second round pick in 2028. I mean, you play that kind of player that money, right? But even Berkey didn't have the greatest season. And didn't have a great playoffs. I mean, 9-11 is not bad. 266. I mean, for where the numbers usually are in these sims, like, these are pretty decent numbers. Alright. But not great in the playoffs, Dakota. That's what we know from last year, anyway. Or the 10 games that you've played in the last little bit. So, we are going to leave this one here. It is going to be a short one. The next one will either be short or long, depending on what the heck happens. And then we can kind of move on. So, let's leave it here, folks. Thank you so much for checking this one out with me. I'm much appreciated, as always. I'm a little nervous at what this team looks like. Sorry, I just want to look at their overalls with you before we go. I'm just kind of a little stunned at how they did so well this year. 86, 88, 85, 85, 80. How is that even possible? Okay, well, you know what? This is going to be a really weird series, folks. We're either going to win it, or it's going to go 7 games, and then we're going to lose in overtime, because that's usually how it goes with us. So, again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out, fam. I do appreciate it. Much love. Bye-bye.